Collective. It's been a while. I have pulled a card for us today because I don't normally do them in the afternoon at all. And here's Darcy again. I try to do them first thing in the morning. And obviously Darcy doesn't want me to do it at all. But so we've pulled card 13, which is the Dignified card, which is also strength. Firstly, I'd like to touch on what the number 13 represents in numerology. So what it represents is effort, extra effort, that's going to be required to overcome challenges. We're going to have to utilize our inner strength when the going gets tough. 13 is said to bring about great change. So it needs us to tap into our inner resources and our outer resources to get this done. There's going to be no quick fix solutions. We're going to have to adjust and harmonize with each other and ourselves and in our interpersonal relationships for any challenges that arise or that have already arisen. And it's really important that we don't give up. So when a planet is dignified, it means that it's in the sign that gives it, that it most aligns with, right? So at the moment we have Mercury, which is ruled, Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and we are currently in Gemini. So what that's telling me is that, being that Mercury is about intellect, it's about the mind, and it's about communication, that this is going to be really important for the moment, right? So we need to play into each of our strengths when it comes to communication, in whatever way communication happens. If you are an artist, if you are a writer, which is art, I guess. So, if you speak to people, the way that you communicate with both yourself, within your interpersonal relationships, and at a collective level, it's going to be really important. So to dig deep into our efforts of communication at the moment. Firstly, I'm going to touch on practicing how you speak to yourself is very, very important. The messages that you're sending to yourself are going to provide you with either strength, or they're going to set you back and keep you in cycles of not feeling like you can contribute in the way that you want to. So firstly, start communicating positively with yourself, with dignity, with strength, with love and care. In interpersonal relationships, any issues or challenges that you might be facing in your interpersonal relationships, you're going to have to put in a little bit of extra effort and make sure that you're communicating in a way that creates space to overcome any obstacles, not make those obstacles bigger. And then collectively, how we communicate the message that we want to convey out into the broader community globally, within the shorelines of this continent or any other continent. Mercury has a lot of air qualities. So it is asking us to use our mind to navigate this. But also, I think we are at the best place of balance when we can find that good balance between the mind and the heart space. So we need to find ways that we can navigate obstacles and ways that we can strategize to make our communication as effective as possible. It's important that we are bringing people along with us as we move through obstacles, help them get through obstacles. We don't want to leave people behind that want to be part of change, because change isn't just done by one person. It's done by a lot of us in lots of different ways, right? So trying not to, I guess, dominate the dialogue. Take on board what other people have to say. See how you can work that into your thinking. And yeah, it's really important to understand that our ancestors have been preparing us for this for a really long time. Since each of us were born, they knew that this time was going to come. All empires fall, and our ancestors have been preparing us for this. There's some of us more than others that want this change to happen. So the more people resist the change, the more obstacles that are going to appear before them. The more obstacles they're going to try and put in our way so that they can continue with the whole better the devil you know than the devil you don't know kind of mentality. And it's important that we're communicating in a way that brings the collective consciousness into alignment with what it is that we want to achieve in our movements. There are going to be some people that fight us the whole way. But still, it's not a time to give up. They're going to kick back. We have to kick back even harder. What else? We need these changes to reflect at an individual level, within our interpersonal relationships, and at a collective global level, right? I've spoken about this before, but what we see at a global level with the violence, with the complete disregard for human life, with the complete disrespect for difference within this world, that those things seep into our interpersonal relationships. Those things seep into how we speak to ourselves, right? You get society messaging for so long about your deficits when you're a marginalized person. And so it's really important that we are working on that deficit thinking that's been pushed on us as well. The things that we've all learned over our lifetimes, we've all had different experiences, even though at times it can feel like some of our experiences mirror each other. We've all learnt different things from those experiences, and that those tools and the knowledges that we've learned are much needed in this time and space. We don't need to tread on each other as a collective to bring about the outcome that we want to see. We need to work together. But in saying that, there are definitely systems and structures and people that uphold them that are not going to want to let go of them, that we need to be okay treading on. People will fight to the death to maintain power. Which brings me to my point that we need to abolish our need for power over anyone but ourselves, right? We need to abolish the need to control anyone but ourselves. And we also need to change the way that we control ourselves, right? This can be really hard when we're talking about our families. Some of us have families that have disregarded colonial violence that has happened to us. Sometimes at the hands of our own community because of the way colonial violence has seeped into our communities. We need to take the power back. Take our power back from those situations. Trust that you are needed right here, right now. Trust that you are as important as the next person, and that we all together are very powerful at bringing about collective change. There are a lot of people waking up to the truth of the world that they've been living in, and that the powers that be do not actually care about them either. There's a lot of unpacking for those people to do. And I think the importance of the communication at the moment is communicating in a way that fosters learning and growth in those people beyond how these systems, structures and powers are harming them, to see that they're harming everybody, even the people running these systems and structures. We all have potential to tap into, and I want us to step out of the colonial ideas of what potential looks like in all of us. We need to step away from our ideas of what potential success looks like, potential wealth looks like, our abundance, all of those kinds of things, because the idea of abundance is very colonial. And I spoke the other day on my socials about the abundance that a lot of people seem to focus heavily on is actually sourced from the land theft and the resource theft and the life theft of Indigenous people in this world. So remember to be dignified in a way that shows respect to your own worth in this space and the worth of the collective that we are a part of. Some people are going to really dislike you finding your own strength. because they are so used to being able to dominate you. And they hate it even more when we strengthen as a collective. We're seeing it now with the activism against the masses of genocides happening to Indigenous people across the world. The silencing that's happening on places that we do a lot of our communication, online spaces. So anyway, don't forget, you are here for a reason. You're here in this time and space for a reason. It may not have always made sense to you, but hopefully it's starting to make sense to you now. And know that you have a place in this collective. We all have a place in the fight for liberation for all of us. And that you and this collective matter.